Welcome back to Space Engineers. Adam here. We are working on doing some repairs. I've actually been doing construction on this space station, but just came under attack. That's why we're at red alert here still. Let's stand down and stuff. But did some pretty serious damage actually to the base because I wasn't on the bridge and we don't have any defenses on here. But it looks like the build and repair systems mostly fixed everything up. It looked like they were targeting the reactor. So anyway, I'm out of metal there, but the space station's coming along pretty nicely, aside from, again, the wreckage down there. But let's have a look. Why would you fly off like that? There's no gravity on the station yet, but got the cargo area started here. That was already under construction last time we were in here. It's so much easier to hurt yourself, it feels like, in this. The big thing is we have these little walkway things now, and this actually works. So there's air in here. If we go past this, there's no air. The way that it works is it actually cheats, I guess, and just considers this hatch to be closed even though you can pass through it, but you see none. And then some. So that's all good to go. Let's get ready to head out here, I think. Could we possibly... How come I can't close that hatch? I can open that hatch. Huh. That's weird. I have to put a button in to secure the hatch or something just because... Not that I really need to, but it kind of bugs me. I delivered a bunch of metal and stuff, building components. That's why this ship's up here right now. I should probably make another run of delivering supplies, but we're not going to do that right now. Let's go ahead and make sure back into flight mode here. And I did not set anything up to disconnect that connector there, so we're going to have to just search. It's one of these ones, I'm not sure. Unlock. And let's reactivate ye olden thrusters here. Are we not unlocked? The magnetic force is enough to keep us stuck somehow. That's crazy. How could there be that much force from that connector? Which connector is it? It's a port connector. There's a lot of connectors here. Let's go ahead and just toggle the block off. There we go. That was not what I meant to do at all there. Alright, we'll drift away a little bit. That's going to be an annoying thing. If I hit Alt and Z, it turns on the controls for my recording software, which is going to be kind of annoying. Anyway, do we see any enemy ships out here? I kind of like to find one. There's an unknown signal over here, but that's not really what I want. I'd like to do some salvaging. This is not a combat ship, but if we can run into some of the lightweight ships, we can probably deal with that. Should probably build a combat ship at some point. I turned my crosshairs back on because it was driving me crazy not having the crosshair. There's so little instrumentation in this game as it is. I definitely don't need less information about what's going on. We don't have an ore detector, so we can't really scout anything. That scared me. I thought there was an asteroid inside of the ship, but it's just my astronaut's head being kind of strangely clear. The sun definitely looks a lot more radiant than it used to look. that thing deactivate? I wasn't paying attention to the time on that. No, I think it's just the radar scanning it funny. And we are going to fly right by that. Oh, God. Not quite. Minor impact. Was not really anticipating how crappy this thing stops. Alright, well, we'll let that one go. Because apparently it's just gone. Maybe we'll head back down to the surface. There doesn't really seem to be a lot going on up here right now. I would kind of like to get into combat, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing. Let's see if we can match course. I'm a little worried about matching course with this because I don't want to accidentally end up in the gravity field before I'm ready here. It's gonna be dangerous trying to get outside of the ship to capture that thing though. Maybe I should open the front hangar and try to scoop it up, but I don't think it's really worthwhile. Yeah, there's no enemies anywhere near us here right now. It's kind of annoying. Alright, well, I'm returning to base. Alright, well, the ship is on its way down. It's empty out in the cargo bays, are pretty much empty, so it should be relatively simple to land on this atmospheric planet. I've done this quite a few times, kind of getting the hang of all of this. I can get, usually, as you see there, I have like 37% hydrogen. This was pretty full up on cargo when I brought it up, and managed to make it up. Well, it's at like maybe 50% cargo. That's about its limit to orbit, I think, safely. But managed to make it down just fine. We should have the main engines starting to decelerate us pretty soon here. Any minute. They usually kick in at around 8,000, I think, meters or so. So let's see if we start slowing down. No? Well, that's a little worrying. Oh, because that's not the actual altitude. They'll kick in at 10,000 meters. Probably. Yeah, we're starting to slow down now. Just a little bit. They're kicking up their power. I have up in the top right-hand corner there, that's the actual above sea level altitude, and then the one that's in the middle of the screen is the above terrain altitude. So the two of those together are kind of useful. Alright, more and more power is being used so that we're getting more and more thrust. Still not actually slowing down too much. Starting to get a little concerned. There we go. Burn off that speed. So that was at about 6K. Keep that in mind for next time. And we're coming down pretty far away from our base on the other side of a mountain. Actually, I can't really tell if we're on the other side of the mountain. I think we're coming down over the plain, maybe? It's very dark. Very, very dark. Not that this is going to help, but I'm going to turn on the spotlights for the actual landing. Okay, so let's start flying our little way over to the home base, get this thing parked. I've been working on a new shuttle. I think I want to experiment with that because this thing is good for bringing up cargo and ships and stuff that get built by the shipbuilding factory down here, like small fighter craft and stuff, but it's not super fuel efficient if I just want to run myself up to the space station or bring a little bit of cargo or whatever with me. So I think we're gonna try bringing up just a load of steel plates. Well, actually, we need solar array stuff. Maybe we'll bring up a load of solar panel and battery components using the shuttle. It's not completed yet, but I'm hoping it will nevertheless get the job done. We are really not slowing down very quickly here. There we go. It's always a little challenging because every one of these ships handles a little bit differently. that I've constructed. And if I really have to use hydrogen for braking, we can. I don't think it's going to be necessary. I don't know what orientation I'm at towards this base at all. It's kind of distressing. Alright, I can see our bay now, I think. Alright, yeah, I can see which way we came in. I don't know why it's so much darker than I remember it being down here. It's been a long time since I've played a lot, so it's definitely possible. It's always been this dark down here. I usually land at night. I should have planned that landing better, but I was just kind of sick of waiting around. I wanted to do some combat, but I was kind of sick of waiting around. We have radar contact. Yeah, it looks like foggy practically too. It's weird. Let's not get too much speed going because this thing decelerates like kind of terribly. Swing this bad boy around. Oh, we came in at a pretty good approach actually there. I'm reasonably happy with that. Of course, cannot tell my attitude. I wish that the UI was a little bit more usable in this game than it is for piloting. I wish I had some of the Kerbal stuff. Kerbal's got a lot better of a UI for flying. Not only this has changed since the game launched, basically, so probably not going to, but lots of ice. I have like kind of a ridiculous surplus of ice, so refueling's not a big deal. I should probably get some sort of more permanent solution to our fuel in the future. Apparently, we still have some damage that had not been repaired on board. Probably from the impact with that, no, it's quite a bit of damage. Lots of stuff's being welded. I probably didn't have enough thruster components to repair all the thrusters that got damaged in that sneak attack. Alright, so we are down. And thrusters off. Locking landing gear. And should be all connected up and all of that. So anyway, I am going to get that shuttle going here, I think. It's downstairs. It's down in the main base. I have a nice little place I've been constructing for it, so hopefully that will work out. And what hurt me in here? Oh, because it's going to actually depressurize the entire... Yeah. There. Alright, did we successfully get the docking connector connected? We did, good. So the ship will refuel on its own. I should probably turn out the lights just to help out with the frame rate here a little bit. Why is this ship still making so much noise? It must be the oxygen generators making all that ruckus, I assume. Spot. Lights. Alright, so if we go over here, I've been working on this little guy. It hasn't been painted, it doesn't have all of its cladding on yet, but it should be capable of getting to orbit, I believe. So let's check her out. And let's just grab... I'm calling it Atlas for now. Let's just grab some solar array components. Where is its cargo? There it is. How many of these can I actually fit? Not quite all of them. And what else did we need up there? We needed some... Well, we needed some steel plate, which apparently I don't have any of. Well, we'll grab some of these, just throw those in there. And do I have any uranium handy? Because we probably could use a little bit of uranium. And production-wise, why are we not building? Oh, because we were disassembling that stuff. Yeah, let's just like get like, I don't know, 20,000 steel plate going. And main engines on. Main power on. All of the order of this stuff gets screwed up here. Let's have a look on the outside just to see what's actually happening here. I cannot tell if my atmospheric thrusters are actually on. Yeah, I need to fix the grouping on this. It's crazy. Anyway, connector. Man, that thing really grabs on. That's not good. I had to turn down the force on that thing. It's, what the hell, man? Why am I having so much connector force issue here today? Where are the connectors? Just turn them off. There. Alright, so let's get what altitude we can here. See how this thing goes. Now, like I said, it should... I've tested it once just to make sure it could make it to space unloaded, but I don't know if it's going to actually be able to do that with cargo on board or not, so this will be an adventure. Just trying to keep an eye on it. I need to fix my grouping, like I said, so I want to make sure that when I hit the hydrogens, they actually turn on here. It has way too big of a reactor for the size of vessel it is. I put one of the fusion reactors on, which is cool and all, but it's kind of more than we need here. Alright, and let's start aiming for the station. Have we got the thrust? Yeah. I didn't set up thrust overrides on this or anything, so it's going to be really wasteful of hydrogen here. But that's alright. I'll set up thrust overrides later. It's kind of good to get it out under its like kind of worst circumstance here, just to see if she'll actually function correctly. Yeah. So with as much as it can carry, which isn't that much, it's definitely capable of reaching space, it looks like. Looks like it's going to be pretty uneventful. So that's good news. I kind of wish I could figure out a way to put a little more cargo on, but there's not really anywhere to put another cargo container. Oh wow, it's kind of making it quick. This thing is definitely superior to the other ship just in terms of how easy it is to get up here, which is nice, and it's going to use a lot less fuel, and when I need to make a little milk run and just bring a couple of specific things up, this is going to be way better. In fact, I think I might build a second one of these once we get the design completed and use it as kind of the main shuttlecraft for everything. Like when I want to build an exploration ship that has a jump drive to go check out the other planets and stuff, and I think this would actually make a pretty decent shuttle. I'm not sure it probably can't land on a moon right now. We might need to modify it and put in a bigger ion engine or a couple hydrogen thrusters or something just so it can land safely on a moon, but it seems like she's gonna work reasonably well, and if I had some thrust overrides on this thing, it would actually be really fuel efficient. We're still at 95% fuel. That's not bad. If I turn off the atmospherics, not that we need to worry too much about power, but that turned off the ions for some reason when I did that, didn't it? Why are these two linked in such a strange fashion? I have no idea. Have to work that out. Anyway, I'll meet you at the waypoint station. Unless something goes cataclysmically wrong, we should be fine to get there. Well, that's a goofy thing that never used to happen. I don't know when that started happening. My feet are sticking right through the bottom of the cockpit. I might actually have to replace the cockpit because that really annoys me. That'd be sad if I have to stop using this one. I guess I could put some metal plate on that so my feet would stick through the metal plate instead. That's weird. That never used to happen. Huh. Yeah. If I put metal plate down there, I'll lose a little bit of my view, but I guess that won't matter. Just so you know, this has a lot of these like custom hydrogen tanks on it. You can't see them because they're under that platting. I'm not sure what the volume is compared to the normal hydrogen tanks on those. I should actually look that out because it seems like it's doing ridiculously well for hydrogen, like better than it should. So I'm wondering if those little weird custom hydrogen tanks actually have the same capacity as the big ones. That would be unfortunate because that would kind of be cheating as far as I'm concerned. We'll turn off the hydrogens in a minute here. Let's turn off the dampeners. Once we get down to like 0.10 gravity, I'm going to switch off the hydrogens just to see if we can manage this with just ion thrust. Losing speed, but not that quickly, so I assume we have escape trajectory at this. Yeah, we're almost reversed the loss of speed there, so it should be good to go. Is that an asteroid? That's a weird looking asteroid down there if it is. I don't want to adjust course and check it out. What is that? I don't have a camera on this thing. I guess it's just an asteroid. I was kind of hoping it was a derelict ship. It just looks really strange. We'll give it a flyby. It looks like we can manage that. I can always kick on the hydrogen if I have to as well. But that's odd. I don't know. These ships are all so much noisier than I remember them being. It's weird. I remember like the gentle rumbling of the engines and stuff. It was kind of peaceful, like on the Enterprise on Star Trek or something, but everything makes these terrible mechanical noises now on these things. I don't know when they changed that, but the sounds are a little more unpleasant than I remember them being. Yeah, I guess it is just a funky asteroid. That's too bad. Oh well, back on to the space station. So I definitely would say this thing needs a couple more thrusters. So considering how good it is on hydrogen, I'll probably throw in a couple of extra hydrogen thrusters because that way we still have the ions as emergency backup if they're really needed or anything. But this is kind of ridiculous. I think we're going to overshoot the space station here if I don't get the hydrogen engines turned back on here. That good. Alright, where do we need to dock here? That's far side there. We'll just use the same docking port we used before. I think it can dock to normal. I didn't actually think about that. If this can dock to the airtight docking ring thing. That's a very good question. Oh god, collision. No. Close though. Alright, that's like we meant to do that. Look at that. Yeah, hydrogen would definitely help here. Alright, let's kick on those connectors again. I have no idea if it can dock to that. I bet it can't, but we'll see. forgot we have hydrogen on still, so get quite a kick in the pants there when we try to go forward. Let's turn those off for finer maneuvering here. Man, the sound is popping too, my speakers, my headphones. Yeah, that's not gonna align. The docking connector's not even the same size, is it? Oh, it does align. Just smashed the ship into the side of this, but... Huh, who knew? Well, that's kind of neat. That's not how we're usually going to be docking it, but that is still good to know that those can connect if they really need to. And let's deliver our cargo, I suppose. It's delivering... It looks like it's unloading automatically the uranium, I think, into the reactor. Now, we don't have an auto build system on board either, so that means... Why do I have... Oh, that's for this ship, okay. I was gonna say, why do I have deuterium? But that's for this, so... We delivered that. Let's just dump this off so it can load it on its own time here. I don't sit around waiting. And is that all the uranium? I guess that's all the uranium. So, that was a successful cargo run. I'm gonna have to make another cargo run with the bigger ship. Just to deliver more parts and get its own build and repair system going. The idea here is, let's put on my helmet and go outside for a moment. I don't have a lot of hydrogen with me, but I think I have enough because I have a tank. The idea here is, obviously this is going to be like where ships dock, living quarters, that sort of stuff. But one of the main things I want to get completed so that the station can start building on its own is I'm going to put a bunch of refineries and assemblers down here on this bottom deck here, so that we can bring the big mining ship up and start stripping down some of these nearby asteroids and really get this going without even having to keep making trips down to the planet, because it's a lot more fuel efficient now that we have a little foothold up here in space. We'll be a lot more fuel efficient to just keep on working out of space. Now, I'll probably use this as the main refinery for anything that we get in space, and then bring the raw materials down to the planet is probably what I'll do, but I haven't really decided that yet. And I don't really want to hang out here too long in case the pirates decide to come back. It'll be unfortunate if they do, because there's no defenses when I'm not here at all. There's only like these 3 little defense turrets as it is, so it would kind of suck if they do, but there's not much I can do about it if they decide to. Alright. Damn, this thing. Alright, before we do anything else, let's turn down... Can I not adjust the pull here? I guess I cannot. Alright, whatever. That's just going to be a problem. Even the big ship had trouble with that, so this little guy's not going to have a good time. Let's go ahead and connector. I'm going to have to put a button in just to turn the connectors off. Alright, so I'm going to return to base. I'm going to load up another run of cargo for the big... for the reclaimer, and head back on up. Should be pretty straightforward. Alright, while we're on our merry little journey back down here, let's have a look at the hydrogen tanks here. So those ones have a maximum of 80,000 liters, 250. Okay, so they are a lot smaller. Well, no, they're not. They're gigantic. Most of these are 250,000 liters. That's strange. It's kind of cheating. I'm not super happy about that. Which tanks are these? I can't show right now because we're on the way down. There's some custom tank. I don't know where they came from, but that gives me kind of a ludicrous amount of hydrogen on this thing. I have to decide if I'm okay with that or not. I think I am, because it's just a shuttle. It still seems like a kind of silly amount of hydrogen. Well, we made it down safely without incident. The ship is refueling, and it's pretty straightforward. So I think, like I said, I'm going to probably add at least 2 hydrogen thrusters in each direction, except for obviously the forward-facing ones here, because we have enough thrust that way. But just so that we can maneuver a little bit better in space under load when we need to and all of that stuff. So anyway, I think I'm going to load up the reclaimer again and make a trip back up to the space station in a little bit with a bunch of steel plates and a few other odds and ends so that we can get at least one of the some defenses online and some build and repair systems online on the space station as well. Start working on getting all those refineries and such going so we can start doing a lot more work up there too. But I'll probably stay down here for a little while. Actually, I want to do some more work on Phoenix Space before I go back up to space, but I'll do that off camera because it's just going to be welding, and got this bay completed now. This is going to be for a like a salvage, not a salvage ship, more of a combat ship. So that's going to be one of the next projects we'll get started on in a while too. But I'll be back in a minute when I figure out what I want to work on. Alright, so I did a little bit of work around here. I put on some new point defense lasers that were added in one of my laser mod packs that I have installed. So we have better point defense on that ship. I also installed another shield generator. There's one in under that turret. Now there's one over there too. So now we actually have enough power that we can actually power all of these shields. So let's go ahead and turn on our shields because I actually want to give them a good test. Hopefully they'll be charged by the time we get down to the hangar, and I'm gonna make a couple strafing runs, I think, with some missiles, and we'll try with the Gatling gun first, I guess, with the fighter here, and do some of that. And is it alright, so we'll just start off with the Gatling gun. I'm gonna go target the empty bay over here just because well, it'll be easy to see what damage we do, and it won't actually hurt anything important, so. Come on, fighter. Gotta redesign this thing. It's not the most maneuverable. It's really just meant to be a scout, though, so I guess it's okay. Alright, so I'm not sure if that's because the shields have not charged or if it's because it's shielding such a large area, but the shields are definitely already in the red. It's definitely possible that this is too large of an area and we need even more shield generators. I don't know how the shields actually work. Let's see if we can get them to fail. Oh, they're holding pretty good even if they are in the red. I don't actually see any damage that's been done yet. So I guess with the shields online, relatively invulnerable to small ship Gatling fire, which is good. I have a feeling it's going to be a different story for the rocket launchers, though, so. Did that do any damage? I don't think it did. Yeah, it seems like the shield's pretty much held. I think that's just a glitchy piece of dirt from underneath, like... Alright, well, I suppose the shields are more or less working at this point, then. We just unload this whole thing here if we ever breach the shields. We haven't been attacked by a drone in a really long time, but I'm probably going to install some new, mods, because it seems like the old mods I was using just don't work right anymore or whatever. Yeah, we're not breaching those shields. That was like almost, what was that, like 4 cases of ammo or something like that in each gun, so it's like 8 cases of ammo plus 8 rockets. Did not breach the shield, so that's good to know. Now, I've got cargo loaded up on the reclaimer. I'm going to head back up to the space station. Going to have to get a shielding system like that online on the station at some point, but the station doesn't have a fusion reactor yet. It's going to be a while till we have everything we need together for that. So I should remember to reload the missiles on this because I'll probably forget, although we have a second one that's on standby. So I guess it doesn't matter much if I forget. Come on. Alright, so I am going to get over to the reclaimer. I'm going to take it up to the space station and drop off our next grouping of cargo. This should get, I know we'll be getting all the batteries online up there. I believe we'll also be getting most, if not all, of the solar panels online, and I'm going to really focus on finding somewhere to put a build and repair system and at least get one refinery and one assembler going, so we'll be in pretty good shape for for getting the mining ship up, the Venture up, and actually getting some serious mining done, so we don't have to keep making these runs up and down between the planet and the station. And I'll probably do some more work on the station or off the base, off camera, but that's for later. So maybe we'll get into some combat with the new point defense system too, but I don't know. So anyway, I'll just be doing this off camera. I'll be back if something terrible happens. Alright, breaking out of the atmosphere pretty easy. I was a little more careful with my fuel this time too, and I think I'm gonna end up with nearly 50% hydrogen left by the time we get out, so that's not too bad. So I'm just gonna dock up at the station and we'll get started on our construction. Yeah, that stopping distance thing from the automatic LCDs is extremely useful. Let's see how accurate it ends up being. I stopped at about 5.2 kilometers out. I stopped accelerating and it said I was at 5.1 stopping distance, so we should end up about 100 meters away thereabouts from the space station. I'm not on an exact approach to the space station because I didn't want to collide with it, but let's see how she actually does here, because this thing does not stop quickly, and having you know, this kind of instrumentation is very helpful considering how kind of terrible the base game instrumentation is. Seems like we're going to be about 100 meters short. That's pretty cool. Kind of like, I could add more thrusters and stuff to this, but that's just going to add more weight, and I kind of like that we have to handle this like it's actually a giant ship, you know? Although, there might be a little bit of a danger here because I didn't really think about the fact that if I stop 100 meters short, that's 100 meters short of the antenna. Let's drift off to the side here just a little bit more. Yeah, pretty perfect. Cool. Now we're on maneuvering speed for sure. And it doesn't really matter which side I dock on, but I would like the gravity to be in line with the direction of the station, generally speaking. So let's get to an outside view so we can kind of keep track here of what we're doing. Feels very majestic right now. I think we'll leave it facing the way it was last time. That was fine. Alright, and did I put a camera? I did not put a camera on the docking port there. Is the docking port still turned? It's turned on, okay. Wait, or is it? Yeah, it is. There's just a red light back there for some reason. I know there's like a flashing marker light, but there's a second red light for some reason. At least it looks like there is. I probably should add a camera. Although it's possible I left that... Yeah, I think I left that connector off. I think the lights are weird. Let's back off just a hair here. What did I call that one? Docking port. Yeah, I did leave it off. That's why there were two red lights. There we go. And let's try to make sure we're more or less in line with the station here. A little trickier than I would like, but good enough. Docked up. Alright, I did not turn on the gravity yet. Gravity on. And we'll let that be. And let's turn off the thrusters. It doesn't really matter, I know, but feels like we're docked. We should have them off. Alright, now, did the nanobots get their own button? They did. Get to work, nanobots. What did they run out of already? They already are out of something? I brought everything for you, nanobots. Alright, well, I'm gonna get to work building some stuff. So, I think this is gonna end it for today. I'm gonna do kind of just a short episode because I'm just kind of getting back into this. It's been a long time since I've played Space Engineers for any amount of time. Let's throw our helmet on and... Alright. I wonder what it's out of. I don't know, got it unstuck apparently. Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to look at while we're here. Those new turrets. Now they're pretty neat, and let's go ahead and turn this one on, and I'll give it some control. I don't really want to shoot anything particularly. We'll give it like one little blast on the roof there. Let's see, got a nice little purple laser beam. These are really meant to be point defense, so they're going to shoot at lasers and such. I mean, at missiles and such, to make sure they do not hit the station, or the ship or anything. So those should be fun for the future. I'm going to put a bunch of these on the station once we get a better reactor going, because it doesn't have the power right now. Point defense should be more or less good enough for the time being. I'd like to get some heavier guns on here too, but that's going to take a little while. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry for the break from Space Engineers. I'm feeling pretty reinvigorated right now at the moment, though, so hopefully we'll get a bunch more Space Engineers done. And when I come back, I'm not sure what we'll be doing yet. We'll figure that out. Thanks for watching.